Our maths topic this week is called rounding off. So let me just write that here. Rounding off. Now what rounding off means is that you are going to look at the number you are given and they are going to tell you, round it off to the nearest 10, 100, 1,000, whatever. They will always give you a number in the 10, a multiple of 10, okay? So let's say our first number that was given to us was 72, let's say that. And they say, round this off to the nearest 10. Now, this is my unit, and these are my tens, right? Because 70. So I must round it off to the nearest 10. Now what I have to do is look at the number next to it. This is a 2. Now the rule works like this. 1, 2, 4. If the number after the 10 or the unit, depending on what it is that they're asking you, for now, if the unit is anywhere between 1 and 4, that means 1, 2, 3, or 4, then it stays the same. So if this number at this moment is a 2, so when I round it off, look at this little sign. That little sign is kind of like an equal sign, but this is my rounding off sign. So it means, look, I have rounded this number off. That wasn't the original one that I was given. So because it's a 2, it stays the same. 70. Rounding off is where it's kind of, if you think about estimation this way, it's if they ask you, 72 is about which number to the nearest 10? They are asking me, to the nearest 10, my 10s that I can work with is 7 and 8, because we've already passed 70. So I must tell them, is it closer to 70 or is it closer to 80? And because it's a 2, it goes to 70. If it was a 4, if this 2 was a 4, it would also go to 70. But let's look at it this way. If this was 77, tens, units, and they are asking me to round it off to the nearest 10, I look at the number next to it. Okay, now the rule is 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 go up. So they go to the next 10. And what is the 10 after 70? Let's see. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So 77 is closer to 80. Okay. So let's do a few more. Now, it's very important to know where your tens are, where your hundreds are, where your units are. So, place value, we are still going to do with you, but to make it simpler for you, I'm quickly going to give you a little hint. Draw 3 houses. We won't ask you to round off to the nearest 1,000 yet, so draw 3 houses. 1, 2, 3. The one at the back, the last house, will always be my unit. The house next to it will always be my 10, and the house next to that one will always be my 100. Now if I get a number like, let's say this, and they ask me to round it off to my nearest 10, I immediately know, okay, that's my 0. My 0 is my nearest 10. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. No, actually this is good. Okay. The rule says 1, 2, 3, 4 stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes to the next 10. Okay? Now, we want to know this one rounded off, so we look at the buddy next door. Not that side, always the one after. Always the one, I'm so sorry. Always the one after. Okay, so this one is a 6. Will the 10 stay the same, or will it go to the next 10? Right, it will go to the next 10. I'm hoping that's what you said. It will go to the next 10 because I got a 6. Now, what will my next 10 be after 0? 0. What's the number after 0? If you said this, 1, you are correct. But now, do I just write the 6 at the back? No. It becomes a 0. Because remember, they are asking to the nearest 10. So it's always going to end in a 0. Once the number is rounded off, it will always end in a 0. Okay? Let's take a bit of a bigger number, and then I'm going to walk you guys through the worksheet. Okay. Okay. Good. Let's look at this number. 5. Okay. Now, you must read the question carefully if they give it to you. I'm going to ask you now to round this number off to the nearest 100. Now, if I had to build my houses around these, this is my unit. The last number is always my unit, then my 10, then my 100. 345. 45. Okay. I'm asking you, I think a good tip, I saw it on a video as well, I will link it to your parents so that you can go look through some more rounding off videos. But the man in that video said he always finds it helpful to underline the number that he has to round off. So if I say to the nearest 100, you underline the 100. If I say to the nearest 10, you underline the 10. Then you know which one you have to look at. And then he likes to draw an arrow showing which one he must look at to decide whether this will stay a 3 or whether it will go up to a 4. Okay, so those are two things. If I say to the nearest 100, draw a line under the 100. And then check the number next to it, directly after it, and draw an arrow to it. The 4 is going to decide whether this 3 stays a 3 or whether the 3 becomes a 4. It can never go back to a 2. Okay? Because this number, 345, is between 300 and 400. So it's somewhere there in between. If you had to look at it on a number line. Let me quickly show you that. If you had to look at this number on a number line, let's say this is 345. Then you could count on 350, 355, whatever, or 346, 300, blah, blah, blah. But eventually you are going to come to 400 and you are going to realize you were at 300. So that's why those two are our only options. All right? So the 3 will either stay a 3 or it will become a 4. Now we have to decide, what's my rule? If it is a 1, 2, 3, or 4, the number stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it goes to my next 10. Now, what is this one? It's a 4. So what's the rule? It stays the same. So the 3 will stay a 3. Do I write the 4 and the 5 at the back now? No. I rounded it off to my nearest 100. They don't care what the number at the back was. They just want to know, is 345 closer to 300 or is 345 closer to 400? And my answer is 300. Okay, I actually want us to have a look at the worksheet now. I'm not going to do it with you, but I'm going to explain it for you. Okay, so let's have a look at this. It says, rounding the sheep. So get this worksheet out in front of you, flip it over, write your name, write the maths date. Pause the video and do that now, please. Good. If you have come back to me, let's look at this worksheet. At the bottom, at teacher's notes, it says, draw a line to match each sheep to the shepherd, which shows the sheep's number rounded to the nearest 10. Oh, that's a lot of sounds that I just read. Basically, they showed you the first one. you are going to go and you are going to look at your sheep. Okay? You are going to go look at your sheep. Just find a pencil here somewhere. Here we go. You are going to look at your sheep. So they looked at the sheep and they said, nearest 10. All of these are going to be, you have to round to the nearest 10. Okay? So they underlined in their heads the 1 and then they looked at the 3. The rule is 1, 2, 3, 4 stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes to the next 10. That is a 3. So the 10 stays at 10. So my answer would have been 10. So they connected it to that shepherd. Let's have a look at this one. They want to know 47. Is it closer to 40 or is it closer to 50? Okay? So the 4 is what I want to look at. The 7 is the number that is going to decide that. The rule is, 1, 2, 3, 4 stays the same. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 goes to the next 10. The number next to the 4 is a 7. So this must go to the next 10. Now 40, 50. So if I rounded that off, the answer would be 50. Now I need to find the shepherd with the 50 on it, and I connect those two. Okay. You can watch this video as many times as you want. I'm going to link another video for your parents. Take it step by step, grade 2. It's the same like with the word sums that you did. It's the same like with the word sums. If you're not going to take it step by step, it's going to seem overwhelming. So the first thing you do, see they are asking you to round off to the nearest what. First you need to figure out what